Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Dragon Network. Today's video is going to be a deck profile, but before I get to that I just want to apologize for the lack of activity that may have been quite apparent over the last while. Not really much I can say on it other than that even I'm starting to only handle so much in regards to how the game has become, and so the deck we're talking about today is going to be just my updated Hunter deck because Stellar Omega is now legal and you guys haven't seen this in a long time. It's still a very fun deck. It's just you kind of really need to open really well for the first couple turns against any of the meta decks, otherwise you pretty much just lose. Like, when you don't see Thunder Seahorse and you're playing against something as fast as Dragon Rulers, you're in a lot of trouble. Not to mention, Effect Veiler is just brutal. Nothing is more debilitating than summoning a Hunter monster and trying to get that additional normal summon, and then they Veiler it. Like, it just outright sucks, and, well, it's the reason why I'm still running my Photon Thrashers, although I ended up cutting one out because I found 3 to be really floggy. I tried playing 3 the other day. I just kept on drawing 2 to 3 Thrashers when I didn't need them. I like having the 2 in the Rhoda, so this is what we got. Okay, so for the actual Thunder deck itself, 3 Seahorse, 3 Paw, 3 Maw, 2 Sis, and 2 Bomb Prisms. Prism is still very helpful. 3500 attack Stardust Dragons are no joke. Like, that card is a real pain in the ass with all the destruction effects going on. Same for your Thought Ruler back by this thing. Like, Stardust Thought Ruler is still really good. 2 copies of Photon Thrasher, not 3. A copy of Honest. This is what I dropped my 3rd Thrasher for, actually, to put it back in, because Honest is still an amazing card. I'm surprised some people thought about taking this out, but this thing still does a lot of amazing stuff. Like, especially when you do the Seahorse Sis underplay, and you just leave yourself with a 1900 body. They'll be like, oh, okay, I can just... They're not going to really bother protecting it, because it's just a floater, so I can make my Ophion and try and beat it over, and then I Honest it, and your Forbidden Dresses aren't going to do anything at that point. 2 copies of Trag. I know Trag is not really the best, but still in this deck, he does a lot of things. He's a body, he makes you easy Synchro Seize plays. Just don't drop it against Dragon Rollers unless you've got a Phoenix Chain behind it, otherwise they'll just take with Big Eye. But yeah, I still really do like Trag in this deck, and he's often 3600 to even 4000 plus if you happen to have enough Seahorses. And lastly, 2 copies of Maxi. I've been starting to main deck 2 copies of Maxi in just about everything with the increased amount of special summoning, and it puts in work. It draws you into Drag, it draws you into Hunter monsters. Against Evil Swarm, he was pretty much required to try and YOLO, and as a result, I ended up going into a hand of at least 7 guys, and then I proceeded to drop like 500 monsters and just absolutely annihilate them. And that's it for the monsters. Triple MST. I know MST is a really questionable choice in the format, but you can't leave any back rows a chance. This also hits those breakthrough skills that they would try and chain on during your turn, which is still rather helpful. And then decks also like the Borden, Skill Drain, and Deck Devastation Virus. Oh god, Deck Dev against this deck is terrible. And at least for locals, you're going to see a lot of the non-meta decks. But yeah, if I were to go to like a regionals with this deck, I might consider dropping the MST, or I might actually just keep it 3, because I do like the fact that, because the whole mindset of, oh, MST is a bad card, means that people are going to be more comfortable setting their stuff as bluffs and whatnot, and I can just MST it and start pushing through. 2 copies of Duality, 2 copies of Recycling. I love 2. I know some people only like the 1, but I still enjoy having 2. 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Reborn, 1 Rhoda, no Dark Hole. Of course, we all are starting to see this. The card is just generally not very effective in the format, and I've really only been playtesting against Evil Swarm and Dragon Rulers and Prophecy, and yeah, Dark Hole is not very effective against those decks. Then for the spell traps, to bottomless, to Phoenix Chain. I was thinking about breakthrough skill, and I might ultimately put it back in, but that attack block plus scrap dragon fodder. 2 copies of evac. I do not like Mirror Force. I'm in prison right now. This is just better. Bounce back Draco Sacks. Bounce back those things before they can search out the pandemics. Double TT. Now the reason why I would run this and not Dark Hole is simply because it's playable during the opponent's turn. That's the big thing TT has going for it, and why it's ultimately the better card. Because just being able to disrupt your opponent's combos during mid-play, like, that's huge. When they're trying to do Big Dragon Ruler, and then they summon another Big Dragon Ruler, and then you TT that, now they have to really go hard into minuses in order to make a Draco Sack or a Big Eye. And then the Solemn Duo. That's it for the main board. For the extra deck, you got 2 copies of Stellar Age Pilot Dynamo, the best card in the extra deck. Problem, negate it, beat it over. When it dies, you get a draw. 1 copy of Constellar Omega, finally, we've gotten this. Sad thing is though, due to the decrease of spell and trap based monster removal, he's not as strong as he used to be, but he's still a very good opening play. If you don't know what you're going up against, or your opponent has multiple back row, then this is a very safe card to make. Then they are pretty much required to burn 2 cards to get it off the field. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, amazing card is amazing. 1 copy of Maestro of the Symphony Din, and 1 copy of Violent de Sigma. I wasn't actually running this before, but I've come across at least 4 times where I've wanted to make this, whereas the card I was running beforehand was one of these. The idea was to go into an Omega and then go into this and then detach to get back my Seahorses and my Hunger Monsters, which is very good. But this sucks up a monster of a certain deck attribute, and then you just keep catastrophic them, and that kind of stuff is actually really good. 1 copy of number 16 Shockmaster. This is probably one of the reasons why you would play this deck right now. Just being able to go into Shockmaster on a consistent basis. You call monsters against E-Dragons, they lose. You call spells against Prophecy, they lose. Excuse me. It's overall really good, and if the Sigma does not work out, then I'm probably actually going to put another Shockmaster in. Just being able to make 2 of them, 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn. And here's another fun card that I've been mucking around with, and it's number 69 Heraldry Crest. What it does is, when it's special summoned, you negate the effects of all other face-up Xyz monsters on the board. Then, once per turn, you can copy the effect and name of whatever. I think of something along those lines. You can target one other face-up Xyz monster on the field until the end phase. This card's name and original effect is treated as that guy. And basically, you drop this when your opponent has some really good monsters that you want to copy, like perhaps a Big Eye. You negate the Big Eye, and then you copy Big Eye, and then you activate his effect, and you take one of their monsters. My opponent had a Lava Vault Chain on the board alongside an Evil Swarm Bahamut and Levier the Sea Dragon. My alternative, I could have done 2 things. I could have A, gone into this and blown up the entire field, or I decided just for shits and giggles, I'd go into this, negate all his monsters, copy the Lava Vault Chain, and then I used this effect to put a Hunger Monster in the graveyard, and then I played Recycling Batteries. Next turn I copied Lava Vault Chain again, stacked a Thunder Seahorse on top of my deck, and whatnot. But yeah, this is mainly there to copy really good Xyz effects that could benefit me for the turn, i.e. much like Big Eye, Draco Sack. You can copy the Draco Sack, get 2 tokens, Beetle crash into Thunder and a Draco Sack. It's not going to die because this guy's not going to die because he's now Draco Sack, and Draco Sack's going to die because its effect's been negated. So overall, I'm kind of liking what this is doing, but at the same time, I may ultimately drop it. Then our last Xyz monster is, of course, Draconic Kaiser Vermilion, because blowing up everything else is pretty fun. And then we got our Synchros, the best level 4s in the game in my opinion. 1 Colossal Fighter. The idea behind this is really if your opponent if you're playing Dragon Rulers and they've got a Crimson Blader on the board and you've managed to negate him or something, you can suicide this into the Blader, it dies, you get back the Blader, and then you beat over their Dragon Ruler, and then you lock him down for the next turn. which is why they play this in the mirror match. Although, frankly, this guy's actually going to be 3,800, so maybe in hindsight, probably not the best idea. So, actually, yeah, I think I'm going to drop this. I just actually realized just now, like, wait a minute. If I'm going to be summoning Colossal Fighter, he's going to be equipped with Violon Prism, making him 3,800 attack. Barring them having an MST, actually, he's going to beat over the Blader. So, yeah, bad idea. But the rest of these cards, though, are all self-explanatory. Especially Blader. Needs to be an Astro Pack Ultimate. And, well, that's it for the deck itself. I don't have a side because I did not actually compete at locals with this. I just went to locals to say hi to everyone. Then we had some games at Robbins, and then there was a cube draft going on, which I managed to get some stuff out of. Like, I got the guy to tell me how the cube draft was done, and then I got a couple cube draft games, and I also got some games of Card Right Vanguard. Like, rather, actually, I just got one game of Vanguard and something else. So yeah, there'll be stuff for you guys to check out in the later part of this week. So stay tuned, guys. And all I have to say is thank you guys for watching. This is All This TGS. Checking out.